Today I have a collection to share that is a personal purchase and sadly no longer available, but I hope you enjoy the pictures and swatches anyway. The Bee's Knees Lacquer, a Court of Thorns and Roses 2.0 collection, was originally offered in mystery bags in December 2021 and then later as overpour. First of all, formula note, since these are similar. Generally, Bee's Knees Lacquer has a formula that dries quickly and wears really well. Bee's Knees Lacquer, a Better Strength 2.0, is a cotton candy pink jelly with sparse hollow microflakes and a mix of multichrome iridescent flakes with predominantly pink, gold, green shifts. I wore it in 4-thin coats and it had a bit of visible nail line remaining. It would also work as a topper. Bee's Knees Lacquer Band of Exiles 2.0 is a gray-based jelly with red-green multichrome iridescent flakes and silvered lilac to green multichrome magnetic pigment. I wore it in 4-thin coats magnetized and 3 unmagnetized, but fewer will cover. This also has a foiled effect when not magnetized. I love that magnetic polishes like this give you a 2-for-1 option on the finish. Also note that I do magnetize after each coat, and then I magnetize one more time after I apply the top coat, and that will give me a pretty durable magnetic shift. Bee's Knees Lacquer Dreams That Are Answered 2.0 is a white jelly with turquoise, blue, indigo, multichrome iridescent shimmer and a mix of multichrome iridescent flakes. I wore it in 4-thin coats and it had a tiny bit of nail line visible when I was done, but it really was pretty even. It wasn't streaky at all. This polish seemed to be really popular on my Instagram among Bee's Knees Lacquer fans. Bee's Knees Lacquer High Lady of the Night Court 2.0 is an amethyst jelly with hollow microflakes and aqua blue indigo multichrome iridescent flakes. I wore it in 4-thin coats, but 2 or 3 will cover. Bee's Knees Lacquer I'll Find You in the Next World 2.0 is a brown-black jelly with red, orange, gold, green, multichrome iridescent shimmer and hollow microflakes. I wore it in 3 thin coats, but 2 will cover. The shimmer on this really glowed. Bee's Knees Lacquer I've Been Looking for You 2.0 is a cobalt blue jelly with hollow microflakes and aqua blue indigo multichrome iridescent flakes. I wore it in 3 thin coats, but 2 will cover. This one will stain dry skin, but not nails themselves. The base is very pigmented, so it mainly comes across as a blue with hollow microflakes, and the shift on the iridescent flakes is less obvious. Bee's Knees Lacquer Mittengard Wyrm 2.0 is a copper linear hollow with pink, gold, green, multichrome iridescent microflake shimmer. I wore it in 4-thin coats, but 2 or 3 will cover. It's a really brilliant metallic linear hollow. I've really been missing those lately, and this was a particularly gorgeous one. Bee's Knees Lacquer She Would Not Go Gently 2.0 is a deep burgundy brown jelly with red-green multi-chrome iridescent flakes and silvered pink to green multi-chrome magnetic pigment. I wore it in 4 coats unmagnetized and 3 I wore it in 4 thin coats magnetized and 3 unmagnetized, but fewer will cover. This is really one of the most metallic foils I've ever seen when unmagnetized. It is completely stunning. So even if you don't like magnetics, it's still worth picking up if you can find it as a foil polish. Also, these do magnetize really easily. They are not among the more challenging polishes to get a good crisp line. Bee's Knees Lacquer Weaver of the Woods 2.0 is a pea soup green jelly with a variety of green and blue multi-chrome and duochrome iridescent flakes. I wore it in 4 thin coats, but 2 or 3 will cover. Finally, the last polish, Bee's Knees Lacquer Whisper of Darkness 2.0, is a black jelly with blue, purple duochrome shimmer with hollow microflakes and a variety of multi-chrome iridescent flakes. I wore it in 3 thin coats.